Okay, for the long as anyone can remember, we've been told countless facts and half-truths about the type of foods that are unhealthy for us to eat. Most people automatically accept what is told to them by the food experts within the health industry that tell us what actual foods we should be consuming. And what about the type of water, not to mention other types of beverages we should be drinking? Wild indeed. Because 90% of people aren't thinking about the type of water they're chugging down their throats. They're just freaking thirsty. So, we're prone to go along with what experts tell us when it comes to food and drink. And the obvious reason for it is due to the fact they have a degree in that particular field, thus their words become the doctrine of scripture. Now, this is not any type of sass talk against them whatsoever. But people today have a common problem when it comes to eating good and drinking beverages. Yeah, they're getting sicker from eating and digesting these edible products. It's a similar sentiment in terms of our water, and the question points to the cleanliness of the H2O. Are there any carcinogens present in there, in your water lately? How about that pH 7 quality level? Does the quality of the water match the proper rating? Yeah, that's what we're diving into here and now. And this doesn't excuse other types of foods from this topic matter, because the list of wholesome edibles we're constantly told as the key thing to eat isn't so key. So, what if we're being constantly told half-truths? Where we're not told the 100% actual factual truth? So are we told everything that's within the bounds of consumer safety? What are the procedures set in place to ensure we're eating healthy, or allowed to drink soundly, and we're not just tossing toxic-based products into our bodies? More importantly, what effects will this have on our mental state as time marches on? Well, there's going to be a range of surprises that may floor you. That's unless you're a seasoned expert in this field that knows what's really good for human consumption. Because this is a multi-billion-dollar industry that tends to safeguard sacred secrets that get buried to a point where they'll never be discovered by those seeking deeper truths. And from there leads us straight down the rabbit hole of the whats, whys, how comes, and what type of research should we be checking into. So, let's jump into this head first. Okay, where to start? One of the least suspected sweet delicacies. Peanuts. Unbelievable, right? Yeah, because they have a huge fanbase that love just about everybody's favorite side snack. Peanut lovers out there just go bonkers over them. But did you know they are also problematic when it comes to maintaining your body's metabolism? Well, they may not be so in love with them but are learning about the high level of lectins they possess. The reason why they raise a health risk red flag is because they're not considered as nuts but legumes. Legumes are plant-based products that are harmful to the body due to the fact they are anti-nutrients. It's the same for cashews, for they too possess anti-nutritional properties that will cause the body to gain weight. WTF, right? Well, that's what a few million people would probably say after hearing something too ridiculous. When in retrospect, it's the harsh truth of what was just said. So, the question left to ask is why? It's because they're seen as one of the most problematic nuts due to their high lectin content and other anti-nutritional properties. See, this is the type of wholesome details most people are completely unaware of. And if you're thinking why after hearing that, well, it's because of food companies who are making a ton of yearly revenue. Therefore, consumer safety takes an immediate back seat at the end. Cashews may be edible items, but like peanuts they can wreak havoc on the body's balanced metabolism that leads to weight gain due to interfering with the body's metabolism to burn off weight efficiently and favors weight gain instead. Okay, look. I know it's something many of you don't want to hear, but bear with me because this is something you should hear. This is information that needs to be aired out, because more and more people are dealing with health issues that not only affect their body, but also their mental health. So, let's move on to the next food item that many tend to overlook as a health deterrent. Alright, next up are raisins, and many will get pissed off after hearing this. But raisins are not considered healthy because they are saturated with sugary content. The breakdown behind their weight retention causes within the body is because they're said to be a natural alternative to candy. Well, the truth is that raisins are considered to be dried grapes. Now, many will say, wait, what does that even mean? It's because raisins are filled with high concentration levels of fructose. Fructose itself is basically toxic sugar, or what is known as a mitochondrial toxin that actively promotes weight retention and metabolic dysfunction. The body metabolizes glucose directly through regulated pathways. It's absorbed into the bloodstream, triggering insulin release to facilitate. This is essentially food for your cells. Glucose is efficiently converted to ATP, the cell's energy currency, via glycolysis and oxidative processes. ATP is short for, or what is known as adenosine triphosphate, an aspect associated with cellular activity that helps cells store and transfer energy for virtually all cellular processes. When ATP is broken down, hydrolyzed, to ADP, adenosine diphosphate, and an organic phosphate. Now hold on. This brings up more aspects about glucose you'll find quite revealing. For one, it's best known as energy sugar that gives your body that needed boost that helps you coast through the day with minimal effort. And it targets the cells throughout your body that can be used directly for energy, which triggers insulin to release within the bloodstream, which helps regulate your blood sugar. Any excess amount of glucose will be stored as glycogen within the liver and muscles. Glycogen within the liver may vary between 100 to 120 grams, and within skeletal muscles it ranges between 400 to 500 grams. The prime purpose glycogen serves is that it stores rapid access energy reserves. That can come in handy when needed, because it can be broken down back into glucose when blood levels dip during fasting, exercise, or stress. The reason for that will serve as energy reserves when your body needs it. Adrenaline is fueled by it as well, especially in situations where fight or flight is essential for survival. It's ideal for providing the body the essential internal resources for quick release for supporting energy demands during activity, fasting, or stress. Yeah, the body is an interesting tool indeed, right? The brain alone relies almost exclusively on glucose, consuming about 20% of the body's total glucose-derived energy despite being only 2% of body weight. Alright, so, what about the hazardous types of beverages that do damage to the body and mind? Well, let's start off with this undeniable fact. Many young people today drink a lot of sugar-sweetened beverages, like soda, energy drinks, sports drinks, and fruit punches with added sugar. These drinks are easy to grab and taste good, but regular consumption can quietly harm the body and especially the developing brain. The main issue is the high amount of added sugars, often fructose from high fructose corn syrup. In excess, these can lead to issues such as the cause of inflammation and oxidative stress in the brain. That's not to mention the disruption of how your brain uses energy. Greater concerns can leave areas of the hippocampus damaged when trying to maintain memorized routines, key for learning and retaining memory. Studies, mostly in animals, some in humans, show poorer memory and learning, reduced focus and executive function, planning and self-control, and higher risk of anxiety-like behaviors such as ADHD symptoms. For kids and teens, whose brains are still growing, this can mean subtle long-term effects on cognitive skills. It's not that one soda makes someone dumber overnight, but daily high intake over years may contribute to slower cognitive development or decline later. Excess sugar can fuel chronic low-grade inflammation, which plays a role in autoimmune conditions, where the immune system attacks the body. Research links high sugary drink intake to higher risk or worse symptoms in diseases like rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, and other debilitating diseases. In animal studies, high sugar worsened autoimmune responses by boosting inflammatory cells. Many drinks come in plastic bottles or cans, which can leach chemicals like BPA, bisphenol A, or similar replacements, PFAS forever chemicals. These are endocrine disruptors that mimic hormones and may affect brain development, behavior, and hormone balance, which is especially concerning as this affects growing kids during the development process. An article over at Psychology Today pointed out the rising concern of SSB intake, sugar-sweetened beverages. Consuming the toxins within such beverages can perversely impact a healthy mind over time. Too much soda, not to mention any other type of additive drink, can cause fluid imbalances in the brain. The imbalance also targets the body, which further impacts the brain, because it already has numerous responsibilities to maintain the body's ability to function properly. So, with all of the downers behind the health concerns and issues many have been experiencing, comes some simple steps to sustain one's health. Switching drinks makes a big difference. Although, this is nothing new honestly, it's the people who are hooked on popular drinks they just refuse to give up. But, a realization of healthy practices comes about eventually, and a basic list of healthy beverage alternatives are the ones that help maintain healthy cognitive activity. The holistic approach starts with minor adjustments such as drinking plain water, as shown above left. Yeah, adding flavor to your water is simple as making ideal use of fresh fruit slices to add a little kick to its taste. Another thing to add to one's regime is unsweetened herbal teas. There's also sparkling water for those who must have that slight carbonated taste, which substitutes as pseudo-soda, or fake soda pop because it's not heavily bogged down with harmful additives. Another thing to consider is lessening the amount of sweets, candy-based items. Consuming too much of them causes inflammation that feeds your fat cells, which is something you don't want to do. So, giving you a deeper insight, think about a large chain of molecules, and within them is a particular molecule that is targeted, or what's known as the target molecule. In other words, hydrolysis is like using a water molecule, H2O, as a pair of scissors to cut one of the links, breaking the chain into two separate, smaller chains. So, this literally means water splitting, which is a fundamental chemical reaction used to break down large, complex molecules into smaller, simpler ones. The process works by adding a molecule of water, H2O, across a chemical bond, causing the original molecule to split into two fragments. In biological systems, particularly during digestion, specialized enzymes rapidly speed up this process to ensure that complex nutrients like carbohydrates, proteins, and fats are broken down into absorbable units, like glucose, amino acids, and fatty acids, the body can then use for energy and growth. This is crucial for energy release that fuels everything from muscle contraction and nerve signaling to protein synthesis and active transport across cell membranes. It's a valuable tool everyone, especially for athletes who depend on it for explosive energy when they need to perform at a high level. There, it bypasses a key regulatory step, phosphofructokinase, allowing unrestricted conversion into fats via de novo lipogenesis, potentially leading to fatty liver, increased triglycerides, and insulin resistance when consumed in excess. De novo lipogenesis, or DNL, is the biological process where your body converts excess dietary carbohydrates like starch and sugar, and some protein into fatty acids. And after it will then be stored as fat, triglycerides, for long-term energy within the liver and fatty tissues. High doses can deplete liver ATP, raise uric acid, generate oxidative stress, and impair mitochondrial function, the cell's energy factories, reducing fat burning efficiency and promoting inflammation. Now the reason why this is being said here and now, is because there are millions of people feeling like total crap. It's not good for their bodies, and people's minds seem cloudy, locked in a mental haze like that movie with Bill Murray called Lost in Translations. Well, that's basically the way many people are feeling today in the United States, where their minds are stuck in translation. Which is thanks to all of the artificial flavoring, the additives, and who knows whatever else toxins are present in the so-called harmless edible items that's literally destroying their bodies. But more so their minds. It's at a point now that these bad foods, especially ultra-processed items, sugary drinks, refined carbs, and unhealthy fats, significantly increase dementia-like cognitive decline risk in young people. That's a terrifying revelation to take into account. And a great deal of it is caused by inflammation, disrupting gut health, causing blood sugar spikes, and damaging brain cell function. Why do you think it's getting harder and harder for kids to remember what they did just a few days ago? Right, we're talking early memory issues that potentially may lead to long-term cognitive impairment. But hold on now. There's a light at the end of the tunnel, but not until I give you a bit more insight about these toxic foods and beverages to raise your awareness. And this next brief piece of information is something that will grip your attention firmly. So there's one more key thing about water and acidic beverages you need to know about. Many of you wonder what else is included in the sodas you have been drinking for years now. Well, that might piss them off after hearing the following details. You see, most people don't know about contents such as pesticides and various additives that were identified within scientific studies. That's not to mention other chemical-based liquids hidden within them. Damaging chemicals that have been linked to neurological issues and brain damage that may manifest early in life unbeknownst to soda pop lovers. It's also to say the cutoff point doesn't end there, because there are numerous beverages people consume like good old-fashioned orange juice, even sports drinks like Gatorade. Oops, see, you just heard the unthinkable, right? Yeah, even innocent-looking Gatorade cannot be excused from that overbearing fact, because it's laced with harmful additives and high sugar content that can lead to diabetes. That's not to mention other sugary beverages like Red Bull, or Monster drinks, and a truckload more of those types that fall into that category. And let's not overlook the ever-so-popular OJ. No, not that OJ, but rather this OJ, or short of course for orange juice, which brominated vegetable oil or BVO is found in it. BVO is an emulsifier found in some citrus-flavored drinks. It contains bromine, which has been linked to nervous system harm, headaches, fatigue, and memory loss due to high levels of oral consumption. It's also stated in an Healthline article, overconsumption can also lead to inflammation, gut health issues, thyroid issues, and cancer risks. Another culprit to look out for is sodium benzoate. It's a widely used food preservative in soft drinks and other food products, although various studies have explored its potential health effects on the body and mind. High levels of internal intake of sodium benzoate has been linked to impaired memory performance. Other results in human studies, these are patients with specific neuropsychiatric disorders like Alzheimer's disease or schizophrenia, have shown positive effects that help to maintain cognitive function, working memory, and verbal learning. Researchers suggest this is due to its role as a D-amino acid oxidase, DAAO, inhibitor, which can indirectly modulate NMDA receptors critical for memory and learning. That's not to mention how it's been cited to increase brain oxidative stress in animal studies, and its consumption has also been linked to a spike in hyperactivity within children, ADHD. Sodium benzoate is considered relatively safe by regulators at low doses. Certain drinks may contain the agent bisphenol A, BPA, which is an industrial chemical used in the plastic coatings of some food and beverage cans. Researchers have found evidence that BPA can cause nerve damage in the brain. Other details state that it's capable of affecting the body in adverse ways. It acts as an endocrine disruptor mimicking hormones, with concerns for brain behavior, reproductive health, metabolism, obesity, diabetes, heart issues, and immune function, especially during development, pregnancy, infancy, childhood. While the FDA says low levels in food are safe, the European Food Safety Authority, EFSA, recently lowered its tolerable daily intake due to immune effects at very low doses, reflecting ongoing debate and evidence of harm. This stems from the water, as well as other beverages, that are within a container base. And to finish up the water, you should be aware of its level of quality. A good pH level starts around 6.5, although it's considered the lower end of the ideal range. Toward the higher end it ramps up to 8.5, that's still within the range for oral consumption. Drinking water standard, 6.5 to 8.5. Keep in mind those are water quality levels that are slightly acidic, yet still within acceptable limits for drinking and bathing. Okay, so now we're toward the end of this video, and as promised here is an emphasis that can help keep your body and mind healthy. Now, for those who likely guessed correctly, the first place is to start with your gut. Gut health means everything, because it's linked to brain health. Since the gut-brain axis directly links digestion to mood, focus, memory, and cognitive sharpness. By avoiding high-lectin foods and focusing on nutrient-dense, polyphenol-rich options, you can reduce inflammation, feed good gut bacteria, and support clearer thinking, better energy, plus better protection against brain fog and mental decline. A top recommendation is the use of virgin olive oil, especially polyphenol-rich varieties that can be used on salads and vegetables. The polyphenols principles present within the oil act as a prebiotic that nourishes beneficial gut microbes. That also helps to lower brain inflammation, and promotes mental clarity and longevity. So as mentioned earlier, the types of nuts to eat that help maintain cognitive health are walnuts, pistachios, macadamia nuts, pecans, and hazelnuts provide healthy omega-3 fats and polyphenols that boost brain function. This also helps improve blood flow throughout the body, and ideally that flow reaches the brain. The end result enables an individual to focus and better retain memory without causing metabolic disruption, lessening clouded thinking. When it comes to ideal fruits, stick to limited portions of low-lectin berries such as blueberries, raspberries, strawberries, and blackberries. Their antioxidants and polyphenols protect brain cells. Similarly, they also support the gut microbiome, and enhance cognitive performance when eaten in moderation, or eaten at the best in season. Now, don't be shy, go ahead and load up on your leafy greens and cruciferous veggies like kale, spinach, broccoli, arugula, and Brussels sprouts. They're packed with fiber, vitamins, and compounds that feed your good bacteria, and reduce neuroinflammation, keeping your mind feeling great and razor sharp. Finally, include omega-3 sources like wild-caught fish or pastured eggs, along with prebiotic-rich foods, such as resistant starches from approved sources. See, these are the types of foods you need to strengthen your gut lining and send positive signals to your brain. The end result helps to improve your mood and it grants you reinforced mental resilience. Making these simple swaps can lead to noticeable improvements in how you feel and think every day. And finally, check out Mediterranean dieting, which is a healthy option that can help reverse some negative effects within the mind. So, if you liked what you heard today about the concerning details provided about the food and beverages we consume today, then smash that like button and make sure to subscribe to Mind Blast Mechanics, where we dive deep into the observations that matter. Don't miss our next video, so make sure to tap that bell. Thanks for watching.